በተለይ እንደ ጋምቤላ በሴቶችና በህፃናት ላይ የሚፈጸሙ ሰፊ በማህበረሰብ ውስጥ በጣም ዲፕ ሩትድ የሆኑ ጎጂ ልማዳዊ ድርጊቶች አሉና
ደግሞ ሌላ ነገር ምንድነው ያለ እድሜ ጋብቻ ወይ ያላቻ ጋብቻ የሚባለው ነገር እዚህ ክልል ላይ በጣም በትልቅ ሁኔታ ነው እንትን የሚደረገው። ህፃናት ልጆች በቃ ትንሽዬ ያደጉ ሴቶች ልጆች ከተባሉ እንዲያገቡ ነው የሚደረጉት።
In our culture of South Sudanese, girls are the sources of income. They are not supposed to go to school. When they are getting 12 years, 13, you will give this person, your girl who is at least richer.
ጉዳት አለው። በተለይ በጤና በኩልም ሴት ያለ እድሜዋ ስትዳርና ወይም ሬፕ ስትደረግ ለፊስቱላ ትጋለጣለች።
Gender inequality plays a major role in negative health outcomes for women, adolescents, and girls in humanitarian settings and the surrounding host community. The gender-related barriers that prevent women and adolescents from demanding and realizing their rights to sexual and reproductive health services must be addressed. Efforts must include the empowerment of women and advancing of gender equality in order to achieve better maternal, newborn, and child health outcomes. Since the initiative began in 2020, Power has strived to support women and girls in humanitarian and host communities to have increased access to information and services which can ensure that every woman, child, and adolescent girl can demand her right to quality sexual and reproductive health services.
UN Women's Program on Women's Empowerment Power, with generous support from the Austrian Development Agency, was launched to address barriers in humanitarian settings in the Horn of Africa. These gender-related barriers hinder the right to health, including sexual, reproductive, and maternal health in women, children, and adolescents who are at the risk of STIs, including HIV, unintended pregnancy, maternal death and illness, and gender-based violence, particularly sexual violence.
The uniqueness of this project is we have power groups established in the host community. The same power groups are established in the settlement areas. So this alone is a key to ease up government projects or government programs that are being implemented in this district. Because if you have a strong community structure like this, where you can make it easy for mobilization. For instance, we are having mass vaccination in the different areas. Very few people turning up from the community. But if you have power groups of young women who are empowered, their lives have changed, and other people have noticed the change in their lives through these power groups who are sending the same information to the community for government programs that are rolling up.
The UN Women intervention of partners has been zeroed down in a small place, that is Maj 1, 2, and 3. Then a little bit of Boroli. We have 19 settlements. But when you look at the percentage of women being empowered in Maj, at the level right now, I think at least we are above 60% of women who have been empowered in Maj refugee settlements.
The issue of sexual and reproductive health has a lot of bearing on socioeconomic parameters of the district, particularly when you look at just from March 2020 up to the peak of COVID. We registered more than 4,000 teenage pregnancies. And this is a case that is reported to the health facilities. What about those maybe out of shame, out of embarrassment, have not reported to health facilities and have remained at large? My appeal, particularly to UN Women, that have identified this as one of the key challenges facing the district and specifically the settlement, is to see how we can support our women economically so that they remain relevant to support the young girls.
Most of the groups that we have dealt with, their issue is around money. It's a big barrier. We came to the field thinking that the barriers were around the cultural norms, but it's beyond norms that are cultural. It gets into norms that are contextual and structured. If you are in a community where you're not assured of a daily meal, there's no way you're going to tell me think about family planning when probably sex work is the only thing that will give me food.
The power project is important for us as Austria because on top of our already 2 priorities for Uganda, that is access to justice and also access to clean water, we have added gender equality, economic and equal access of rights for every woman and girl as our 3rd priority for Uganda.
Because my wife is vulnerable, I want to be exemplary in our community. I want to support her. Women are having a lot of responsibility. When you come from morning up to evening, men are doing maybe 2 or 3, just 3 responsibility. But for women, starting cleaning the house, washing the utensil, washing the children, cooking food, fetching firewood, cleaning the compound, a lot of work.
This project is like a small drop in an ocean, but then it presents gains that actually can be scaled up. So to me, I take this as a challenge, but at the same time as an opportunity that actually when we further invest into this initiative, then we'll be in a position to deepen our impact, but also to bring on the critical mass of people. And when these women come together, then these power clubs can be used as platforms that actually can voice out the kind of inequalities that have been existing.
እናቶች ላይ ብዙ ትምህርቶችን እንሰጣለን። ግርዛት ነበር፣ ግርዛትንም አሁን እናስተምራለን። በጣም አለ ቀርቷል ሙሉ ለሙሉ የሚባል እንትን ላይ አይደለም ያለው። ከካልቸር አንፃር ስናይ አሁን በኑዌር ባህላዊ ስርዓት ላይ አንዲት ሴት ልጅ ስታገባ ከብት ታመጣለች። ያን ለማግኘት ሲሉ ኢሚዲየትሊ ቶሎ ነው ለራሳቸው እስኪጨርሱ አይጠበቅም። የኑዌር ልጆች 10ኛ ክፍል መጨረስ በጣም ታሪክ ነበር። አሁን ከብዙ ነገሮች ከብዙ ትምህርቶች አንፃር እየተለወጡ እስከ መጨረስ ኮሌጅ ሁሉ የመግባት እድል ተፈጥሯል። ያ ምንድነው አዌርነሱ ከመስጠታችን የተነሳ ነው። እነዚህ አይነት ችግሮች ደግሞ አሁንም ገና ብዙ አዌርነሶች መሰራት ያሉበት ይመስለናል እኛ እና እንደዛ ላይ እየሰራን ያለ ነው።
አጀስ ሲሉ እንደ ካም ማዳን ኮቶ ዲኔ ሲናጋ አደ የንኪነ ጋጅናጋ ngoy manadi digi school kine ti tamaro kang ne kene moggi beri gati yengesi kagwan dab gede ko ngiro dangiro na it doti kek debba na ngiro yala kiru dingin naga ko kine to dine si yala yi tamaron lefen kang ne na isi siru nda kat bonga madang te gi bay go na kajona ngona kana medam go na murtana kagwan ne ko dumun kine gurusu ko dik ane ko bore ni ngina ligito ananga murtaka ta wonan jato de kan ko re kan badi ko yala kinan kure jato
ta daba chara ger ko shina dab dol wal ke ci joyi di de nana kamna chara da ger ko moy ke nay wal to go tinang nay ke ko ci joyi ci tel ka nay joyi kamna
ያንን የፋሚሊ ፕላኒንግ ምን ቤተሰብን እቅድ የሚጠቀሙ በባሎቻቸው እንደሚደበደቡና እንደማይፈቀድላቸው ያንን ከዛ ጋር ተያይዞ ከጤና ቢሮ ጋር በመሆን እየተሰራ ነው።
This project has been very short and all leaders, all beneficiaries have actually echoed this and said you cannot be seen to stop now. Let's work with you because we understand what you're doing and we see the value that it brings to that table. And I think if there is an opportunity for a power 2.0, make sure that there is economic autonomy in the circles of these women, that the communities, both refugee and host, coexist peacefully and are willing to participate in such initiatives to advance their lives.
ነገን ሳስበውኛ እኔ አገሬ ላይ በአካባቢዬ ላይ ያሉ ሰዎች ያልተማረው ተምሮ የተማረው ደግሞ ያልተማረውን አስተምሮ ጥሩ የሚባል ኑሮን ስንኖር እህቶቻችን መብታቸውን ተጠቅሞ መኖር ሲጀምሩ ወንዶቻችን የተማሩት ያልተማሩት ቤተሰቦቻቸውን ሚስቶቻቸውን አስተምረው ጥሩ የተባለ ኑሮን ይሄ መደፈር ወንጀል መስራትን ትተን ጥሩ ኑሮ የሚባለውን ስንኖር ደስ ይለኛል። ያን ጊዜ ማየት ደስ ይለኛል።